Hello, I'm Joseph D'Onofrio, and you're watching Remember This.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Remember This. I'm your host, Denise Boland, and with me is my lovely co-host, Helene Bacheri.
Hey.
Hey, Helene, we're at the end of 2017.
I know. So we had a great kind of summer going on, though, right?
A lot of concerts, right?
Yeah.
We did a lot of concerts this summer?
We did the Sgt. Pepper.
50th anniversary.
Yep,
Yeah.
at the St. George
That was
Theater.
awesome. Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Who
A lot
did
of
they have? They had
local.
Garrett Gardner.
Yeah.
He sang Baby You Can Drive My Car.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And-
Local artist Jenny Kelly was there.
The Blue Meanies?
The Blue Meanies, that's
They were
right.
really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were
They
cool.
did a really
yeah.
good Beatles tribute.
Ken Dashow was the MC.
Ken Dashow.
We got to take a picture with him.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Ken, I
We
want
got to
you on
meet
my
him.
show,
Yeah,
Ken.
Ken.
He said he'll do the show, so we just have to find him.
Yeah,
that
that'd
he
be
said
great.
that.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
I love him.
What else did we do? We went to the Saturday Night Fever.
40th anniversary.
That was a
Yes.
blast. Got to dance and
That
have a
was at
great
Coney
time.
Island.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Ford, was it
Was it
amphitheater?
fun? Yes, the
Yes.
amphitheater.
Pretty
Mhm.
cool. It's a nice theater. If you
It was
haven't
beautiful.
seen it, you gotta go check
yeah,
it out.
Yeah, it was very nice.
And that was on our other favorite DJ, Joe Cassidy.
That's right.
Yes.
Joe Cossey was there. And one more thing we did, not just recently actually, we went to see Don McLean. Ready? Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was right.
That's like a 6-minute song. So
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah, it was really good. It was fun.
And we had some great musical guests on the show this year, right?
Yeah.
Caleb T. Johnson, who
Right.
did the tribute.
Yes,
to
he
Michael
was great.
Jackson
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For his what would have been his 57th birthday.
Yeah.
But we did have 2 losses here at CTV. Unfortunately,
Oh, yeah.
we lost Louis Orosky.
Louis. Yeah, sweet
He was
Lou.
wonderful, and he actually helped crew with this show. He did the Candy
Yeah.
episode. He
It
was a
was-
sweetheart, and yeah, there wasn't enough that he could do for us. you
Yeah,
know.
Louis was a great help. Yeah, like she said, he just put his whole 100% into helping.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a lot of energy, and it was really hard to find out that we lost him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we lost our dear friend, the actor Joe Barry.
Oh yes, Joe Barry. What a little sweetie. Yeah.
He was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And he used to do little skits on
Yes.
the Big Turno show.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah. Rest in peace, Joe.
rest in peace. Yep.
And Lou.
And Lou.
And what about music? Tom Petty.
And we lost Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Yes.
Passed away.
Yes, that was a shock.
Yes.
A
Really.
shock,
Complete shock. Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And,
Was he 67 years old?
Yeah, that's young
Yeah.
today.
And he just completed a tour. He just finished his tour like 2 weeks before he passed away.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight and celebrating. We love you dearly. I want to thank you for 40 years of a really great time. We're almost out of time. We got time for this one here. so much.
For goodness sake now, Martin Scorsese's got the movie The Irishman with Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Robert De Niro, and they're in their 70s, and they look great.
God bless them.
You know.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I know they filmed some scenes in Brooklyn. They were over at New Corner.
Oh, good old Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, Al had been, they did Dog Day Afternoon in Brooklyn also, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Yes, Prospect Park, I think, right? In the Prospect Park? Yeah.
Cool.
So, it's great.
Welcome to Are You Wiser Than a Wise Guy? I'm your host, Jay Cruz, and my co-host, Frankie Bolin. Now, in this game, our contestants will be asked questions where the answer will either be Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, or Joe Pesci. Whoever buzzes in first with the correct answer gets a point. And at the end of the game, whoever gets the most points wins the game. Let's meet our contestants. Adam Lordi.
Hello.
Denise Bolin.
Hi.
Helene Boucheri.
Hello.
And Michael Lewis.
Hello.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then let's play Are You Wiser Than a Wise Guy? All right. In round one, I will call out a movie, and you have to buzz in and tell me who starred in that movie. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, or Joe Pesci? All right, first question. Carlito's Way. Mike.
Al Pacino.
That is correct. Al Pacino stars in this 1993 movie opposite Sean Penn as a Puerto Rican former convict just released from prison who pledges to stay away from drugs and violence despite the pressure around him in New York City.
He's so good. He's so good.
Great movie.
All right, question number 2. My Cousin Vinny. Adam.
That is Pesci. Joe Pesci.
That is correct. Joe Pesci stars in this 1992 movie as Vinny Gambini, an inexperienced, loudmouth lawyer, not accustomed to Southern rules and manners, who comes to Alabama to defend his cousin Bill, who, along with his friend Stan, are accused of murder. All right.
Great movie.
So, question number 3. The Godfather. Helene.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino stars in this 1972 movie by director Francis Ford Coppola as Michael Corleone, the youngest son of Vito Corleone, the Godfather. He later takes over as the head of the Corleone crime family. All right. Question number 4. Machete. Mike.
Danny Trejo.
Denise.
Robert De Niro.
That is correct. Robert De Niro stars in this 2010 movie opposite Danny Trejo as Senator John McLaughlin, a long-serving senator running for re-election who is against immigration. All right. Frankie, how are we doing so far?
1 point for everyone.
Wow, how about that? All right.
Danny, be very
Close
happy
game.
that you included him in the game.
So this is the last question for the first round. Are we ready? Lethal Weapon 2.
I know the answer.
Denise, what do you got?
Joe Pesci.
That is correct. Joe Pesci stars alongside Mel Gibson and Danny Glover as Leo gets a federal witness they have to protect who later becomes their sidekick. All right, so Denise wins round number 1.
Ooh.
It's rigged.
Hey, forget about it.
Butter.
You're gonna mess with me again? You're margarine.
Butter.
What is wrong with you? It says margarine on the label, can't you see?
Butter.
I don't believe you. You wanna mess with me? You're freaking margarine!
Friggin' butter.
I can't take this anymore. All you two do is argue every single day. Butter, margarine,
You see what you do? You make me get strangled.
Choked.
I didn't get choked. I got strangled.
Choked.
Look, now she's gone.
She's left.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to strangle you. Come here. You want to get strangled? Get... Oh! I'll teach you, okay? Now what are you? Butter?
Butter.
The flavor says butter.
In round 2, these are movie quotes. You have to buzz in, and you have to tell me who said it. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
All right, and of course the answers can only be Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, or Joe Pesci. Get your hands on the buzzer. The first movie quote is, never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut. Clean.
It was Robert De Niro.
That is correct. It's Jimmy Conway and Goodfellas. Question number 2. Annika, Annika, Annika. Clean.
It's Al Pacino.
That is correct. That was from the movie Dog Day Afternoon.
I love that movie. I can watch it over and over again.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
All right, question number 3. You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole trial's out of order. Mike.
Al Pacino.
That is correct. And that was the movie Justice for All. All right. Question number 4. Someday a real rain will come and wash all this scum from...
He had it.
Robert De Niro.
That is correct. That is the movie Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. Yes.
Okay. Question number 5. It's funny how, I mean funny like I'm a clown. Adam.
That's Pesci.
That is correct. That's a movie from Goodfellas.
Yes.
All right.
Like I amuse you. I'm a clown. Back to the clown.
Now, this is a bonus
the clown
question.
thing again.
How many points does that work?
3.
All right. 3 points for the bonus question. Are we ready? Who is the oldest of the 3 actors? Adam.
That's Joe Pesci.
No, it is not.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Al Pacino. Al Pacino.
That is correct. Al Pacino it is. He is 77 years old.
Wow. How old are the other guys?
And Joe Pesci is actually 74 and a half, and Robert De Niro is 74.
Ah. Wow.
So, Frankie, tell us who won the game.
For first place, Helene won. Second place was Michael. And our tie of third place is Adam and Denise.
All right.
Not last.
No, not like
Not last.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the game. Are you wiser than a wise guy? I'm your host, Jay Cruz, and let's thank my co-host, Frankie Bolin. Let's thank all the contestants, though, for being a part of this game.
friend of mine. He's a wonderful...
I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And thank you for playing Are You Wiser Than a Wise Guy?
Our first guest tonight is a dear friend of mine. He's a wonderful actor, and he's here all the way from Brooklyn. Let's give him a really big welcome, Michael Lewis.
Hey, Denise, how are you? How you doing today?
Great to have you. Remember this.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
How's the traffic? Was it bad?
Well, you know the Staten Island Expressway.
Yes.
Never a smooth sail.
No, never. And how much is the toll now?
Oh, gosh.
Like
I don't know,
$25 yet?
Yeah, I just go easy pass to pay.
So it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I met Michael on a TV show that we were in together, The
Yes,
Neighborhood.
The Neighborhood.
Right.
Yes. With Willie DeMayo.
Willie DeMayo, yes.
Yes.
Brooklyn's own.
Don't get better. Great guy.
Yes.
Terrific man.
He is.
Grew up with him, went to grammar school with him, and we've kept the friendship for 35 years.
And he hasn't changed, right?
No.
Success hasn't changed him.
No, not at all.
Yes.
The way he was when we were 30 years ago is the way he is today.
Yeah.
Very humble man.
Amazing. And I always say he didn't wait for Hollywood to come and find him. He made his own.
Yes. Will
Success.
made his own. The word I use for Will is perseverance. Nothing stopped him. He went after anything he could do, anything he could get,
Yes.
and he worked his way up to the top. And I'm very proud to have him as a friend.
Yes. Yes.
We should all be like that.
Yeah.
Go after what we.
And he never forgot where he came from. He'll always include his friends in anything he does.
That's
Like in the neighborhood,
In the
right?
neighborhood.
The neighborhood is actually the neighborhood he grew up in.
It's all the neighborhood we grew up in. The restaurants, the club scenes, everything where he grew up, we grew up, is what he used. And he never forgot his people.
Well, tell Helene where you grew up. What neighborhood you grew up in?
Gravesend.
I grew up in Gravesend.
Helene grew up in Gravesend.
Will was on West Street.
I went to Our Lady of Grace.
So did
I did too.
And Willie did
From
too.
kindergarten to 8th grade. I went to Our Lady of Grace.
I actually went 7th and 8th grade.
You went
Maybe-
7th and 8th?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in the public school in my other neighborhood
Okay.
by Manhattan Beach, Sheepshead Bay. It was
Yeah.
195.
195.
And then I went to Our Lady of
And then
Grace.
Our Lady.
Who was the principal?
OLG.
Did you have the same principal?
Sister McCann, I believe her name was. McCann.
No, I had Mr. Hunt.
Mr. Hunt?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're probably a lot more
Yeah,
years apart.
Michael's younger.
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many, but a couple.
Yeah. But great neighborhood. I remember we did, and we didn't air it yet, but Helene and I went back to our old neighborhoods. And I grew up in Borough Park, so I went back there, and like the whole block was gone. They tore down every house on my block and built new ones, so I didn't recognize it. But we went back to Gravesend, and everything pretty much looked the same, right?
Well, somewhat. I mean, the church, Our Lady of Grace, everything, the school is the same, but a lot of the houses have changed. They made like these little mini mansions out of
Oh, so
some
they
of
did
my
tear
old
down
friends'
houses.
that, I mean, they knocked it down and just rebuilt it.
A lot of
You
that
know,
area, they're doing
it's
that.
changed.
It's going
It's
all the way up
changed.
to like Kings Highway area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're knocking everything down and just building.
And in a way, I felt like a lot of the old timers were gone. Like all the people that I knew, a lot of them were not there anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people from the neighborhoods
They
have moved
Moved.
either to Staten
Right.
Island, Jersey, or
Yeah.
Long Island.
Right,
so.
exactly.
But then you still have those local businesses that are still there, like Cuccio's.
Cuccio's.
We went to Cuccio's Bakery.
You know Cuccio's.
Oh, I do.
Yes,
I
love
do.
Yeah.
Had a few jelly
I love,
donuts.
oh God, and the cream donuts. Oh God, they're so
it's really
good.
good.
Yes.
You have to get the coffee cake.
The coffee cake.
Oh yeah, nothing with having espresso with the coffee cake in the morning.
I think I know where we're
What about
going after the
twisted-
show.
Did you ever have the twisted loaf? The twisted loaf is the best.
But the family's still running it, and that's what's so nice about it.
Yeah, it's still family owned and
Yeah.
operated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing.
Yeah, and it has that smell.
I think it's 3 or 4 generations.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
something like
at
that,
least
yeah.
4 generations.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get into acting? Did you want to be an actor growing up?
Actually, I'm starting a second career. My first career was funeral directing.
Okay. There you
And it was funny, about a year ago, I had run into Will. We were having, all my friends that we grew up together was having a Christmas party, about 60 of us.
go. Wow.
And Will and I started talking, and Will says, I know you know the funeral home business. I need to ask you a few questions. And we sat down and talked, and he says, come in as an extra on my set.
Isn't that great?
And that's how it all started. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just like that. So, you know.
And you got a taste for acting, and
You
it
got a
didn't stop
taste.
there, because
No,
you're doing
no.
even more acting.
Yeah, a gentleman that worked on the set with us, his name's Chris Victor as well. He's working on a movie on his own now, where I'm playing a couple of extras in.
Yeah.
And it's actually fun.
It is fun.
It is
I
fun.
know.
It's a
It
lot
is.
of work. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's rough work some
And time.
days. And time.
It takes time, yes.
It does take time.
That one night, because I was in that movie with you, the first night, I think we were there for 17 hours.
17 hours,
Yeah.
yes.
But I enjoyed it. I loved it.
We had fun, and there was a scene Denise and I were doing, and we were in a warehouse. And there was no air conditioning in the warehouse. It was 100 degrees.
It was hot.
And we had to wear suits and dressed up.
Yeah.
God.
I went through 5 suits in 2 days. That's how hot it was. Literally rang out my jackets. So it takes a lot out of you, but as long as you make the best of it, you'll love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You have to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully, more and more will come
That'd
as
be great.
time comes.
Yes.
And a lot of great people you meet
Yes.
and friends.
And that's kind of why I like to be an extra in these projects is to network and meet people.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes it so exciting because you end up with, lifelong friends. Yeah, it's nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yes, lifelong for sure.
Well, stick around. We have another guest coming out,
Oh, I can't
and
wait.
we'll talk to you some more. All right?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, forget about it. Well, stick around. We're going to bring out our next guest, Adam Lordi. Don't go away.
Jim, would you like another cup of coffee? I have it in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, that's odd. Jim never wants a second cup of coffee.
Welcome back to Remember This. Our next guest is a wonderful artist, and also he works in the film industry, so I'm sure he has an interesting story to tell us about that. Without further ado, here we go with a do again. What is a do?
I don't know
keep
what a
forgetting
do
to
is.
Google that. Okay, well, without further of it,
Without further notice.
our next guest, Adam Lordi.
Hello.
Hey, Adam.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to Remember This.
Thank you for having me. I think ado was all from back in Shakespeare's time, because he had much ado about nothing, right?
There you go.
I mean,
Without
saving me every
further,
time
so
looking
we
it up.
don't want much of it. Wait, he had much of it, but we don't want any further of it. I'm still working out the kinks on that one. Thank you for clearing that up.
I'm glad to help.
So you're not just an artist. I got to tell you, we were in his class, and I got there, and the class before said to just wet the whole thing. So I got there a little late, and they're all like painting, and I'm there, and I'm like wetting the whole thing. And he's like, you don't need to do that, whatever. But his personality, he just like stood out from the other instructors, and then he started cracking jokes, which some of them you probably can't repeat here, but he just made the class so much fun. And I don't know, it was just great. And his artwork is amazing. So I was like, you got to come on Remember This.
Thank
Yes.
you. I just can't stand awkward silences mostly, but, people are paying to have a good time, and all the attention is on me. I'm going to take advantage of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your
Bit of a ham.
forum. There you go. It pays to be a ham.
So the reason we didn't have to do all the wetting of the canvas, I don't know if you remember,
I do. I didn't know if I should get into
complained
that.
a lot about the quality of the blue paint.
Yes.
There's a switch over between the blue paints, and it has since been corrected. I've gotten a lot of
Oh.
communication from...
Has it been corrected?
Yeah.
Aha.
All that complaining finally did something.
It paid off.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right. Yes. They were going with a thinner blue paint that would drip down the canvas, and it just, and you'd have to use a whole bunch of it just to get a good consistency.
That's okay. We figured it out. It worked out. Everybody had a good time.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See, that's like Willie, the perseverance. Right?
You see, you work it out and you keep going.
Exactly.
And going, you get what you want.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got your paint. As long as it's not lead.
Yeah. Thank
That's
goodness
right.
It isn't. Yeah.
That's right. So do you, have you been doing the classes for a long time, or you just started?
2.5 years
2.5
now.
years.
Yeah. So I work freelance in TV and commercials as a set lighting technician. And since it's freelance, there's areas where it's very dry periods. So
Okay.
I figured the girl I was dating at the time recommended that I give it a try. And it was fairly easy to get into because my personality and my style of painting really complemented what the company was looking for. So from then, it just started to snowball into me becoming more comfortable talking in front of crowds and articulating exactly what it is to do with the paintings and for the paintings. And it just has been working out pretty well so far.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you know who was like that? He used to talk through his paintings, Bob Ross.
Oh, wow, Bob Ross.
He would actually explain what he was doing, and you talk about the colors he was using and why. And so maybe we can get you to do a painting like Bob Ross.
Brought all my shit with me, so sure.
All righty.
Yeah. In fact, 2.5 years, not a single class at Paint Night has gone by without someone mentioning Bob Ross.
Really?
Yeah.
But he was so much of our childhood. He was, right?
Yeah.
Channel 13.
PBS, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every time you turned it on,
Turned it
you
on,
saw
there he
him.
was.
He's painting. And he always was so mellow
Very
and
relaxing
Yeah.
sounds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always had that
Monitor.
monotone, like very comforting
Yes.
sounds that he would do. And you can hear the bristles scraping against the
That's
canvas.
right. And he used to beat the brush, right?
Yeah.
But
When he
there's-
was cleaning them.
There's nothing more relaxing, I think, than just watching somebody painting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes you go to the park and like Snug Harbor, and somebody has their
Yeah.
paint sets up, and they're painting the tree, and you just stand there and watch
It
them.
is.
And
Yeah.
it's so nice.
You know, when I go into the mall
Relaxing.
and Mr. Wu was on our
Yes,
show.
Mr. Wu, I've watched him.
And yeah, and it's funny because I was in the mall the other day and I was up on the second floor and he's down on the first floor and he's just like painting and I'm up there with my camera. I'm like a stalker. And I'm videotaping him and then I went downstairs. I said, look at this video I got. And he's laughing because I'm videotaping him painting. But it's so nice to watch. It really is.
It is.
I hope I can provide that as well.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
I'm sure
You got the personality for it.
Well, thank you.
Lord,
Let's hope the coffee doesn't wear off.
Can I ask you, what do you like to paint? Like, what kind of pictures and drawings? Do you get them out of your head, or do you look at something?
Sometimes I'll just get an idea, like I'll be riding on the subway and something will just flash into my head, and I'll kind of sit with that idea for a day or two. Then I'll go out and buy an appropriate sized canvas and give it a try. I would say 9 times out of 10, if I'm doing something like a landscape or an abstract piece, what I have in my brain is not exactly what comes out on the canvas, because somewhere along the lines, I don't want to say something takes over, but there just feels to be a very natural progression as to what I know is going to look better compared to the image I have in my head. So somewhere along the line, instinct kind of kicks in, and I just sort of
And
go
then
with
takes
that.
over, right.
I take a long time to get my paintings through.
Yeah.
It's just I sit with them for a long time, and then I'll have like maybe a week or 2 or sometimes even a month where I don't touch them,
And then you would go back.
and then I'll go back to them, yeah. And weirdly, sometimes, depending on my mood, like if I'm having, if I'm going through a breakup or something,
Right.
I won't touch it for maybe a month or so. And that's, just my temperamental personality coming through with the art.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody reflects in different ways.
Yeah.
Certainly, yeah. How did you start painting? On your own, or did you go to schooling for
Yeah,
it?
just on my own. I kind of found my way into it just, I guess, with art classes in grade school. And I remember being like in second grade and very young, just like tracing Ninja Turtles out of like comic books and stuff. So I've always had like an artistic drive, and it just sort of carried over into painting eventually.
That's great.
It's a great talent to have.
It is.
Yeah.
And you're doing something that you love.
Yeah.
Now, the film industry.
Yeah.
Anything that we know of that you worked on?
I've worked on Chopped a lot.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
The
that's
Food Network?
Yeah.
Chopped? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
that's a really fun show to work on.
Okay.
And Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson is a show that I've been with for the run of its series. That's a very fun show. It's a science talk show.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, things here and there.
That's exciting.
Yeah, every once in a while there's something that you're really proud of that, you can't wait to see. Commercials are, fun to work on because they're about a day long, and then you get paid fairly well, and everybody's very professional, comes in, does their job, and that's that. Then occasionally you'll get like a student film where it's just an absolute nightmare. No one really knows what they're doing. And
Do you have a website if somebody wants to get in touch with you?
yeah, AdamLordi.com is showcasing most of my art. You can get in touch with me there. I'm also Adam Lordi's Art on Instagram and Adam Lordi's Art on Facebook, and The Lordi on Twitter. Almost all of it is showcasing my art at this point, because my personal life is my personal life. Stay out of it.
It's true. Well, that's like Facebook. You have like so many people that send you a friend request, and now all of a sudden you have like all these people that you don't know, and now you're posting personal pictures and stuff, and so I kind of have to get like 2 different Facebook accounts.
I think that Facebook has turned into a diary for some people. Like they just,
It has,
like,
yeah, that they have to put every little thing that they're doing. And Michael, if somebody wants to reach you, how do they do it?
I'm on Facebook. I don't have Instagram as of yet. I'm working on it. Facebook will be the best way to go.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Well, guys, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam, and I'm going to be painting today. I'm going to be going through some steps on what exactly I use and what I do to make what we're going to have eventually be a landscape. So I usually start with a larger brush to do some of the bigger strokes in the background, and I always have something like a palette close by to do all my mixing and accessing my paint. Two paint colors that I always start with are black and white because my highlights and shadows always consist of using those two colors. I'm going to get into starting my sky for our landscape painting here, and I'm going to go with Windsor blue because that is a very deep dark blue that really looks pretty fantastic when you mix it with some white. So now that we have our paint colors ready to go for our sky, one thing that I almost always do first is wet the canvas, and it just sort of primes the canvas a little bit more, gets those colors ready to be added to the canvas, and it also helps warm up the hand just a little bit. So with just water, I'm adding a little bit of water to the canvas with my larger brush. Right at the horizon line, the sky is usually just a little bit lighter, so we're going to start with our lightest mixture of blue first. And I'm going to start to mix in some of that blue, and you can see it gets that really nice, beautiful blue right there. And starting at our horizon line, we're going to say somewhere in the middle. Get that real soft blue. I'm going to add just a little more white. And I tend to do long, broad strokes that kind of help keep that line a little bit consistent. And as we go up, we're going to be adding subtly more and more of this blue, because once we get above that horizon line, the sky has a little bit more deeper tones to it. And for you science nerds, that's because our atmosphere only allows certain lights to enter through our eye line, and blue just happens to be the wavelength that matches perfectly with the elements in our air. I recommend painting the sides and the edges of the canvas. It just sort of feels a little bit more complete, especially when you want to hang them somewhere. It's kind of a little bit ugly to see those white exposed areas on the corners. When I paint, I usually listen to a podcast or an audiobook or sometimes music. It just kind of lets part of my brain turn off a little bit while I just sort of go on autopilot and start painting. So we've got our sky now. I'm going to clean out all that blue from my brush. And you know what? I think we're going to do some water. So maybe a little lake. Yeah, we're going to do a lake. That's what we're going to do. So when you're painting water, one thing to kind of keep in mind is from whatever perspective you're looking at the water, that angle is going to be reflecting the sky above it. So essentially what we're doing is matching what we have just above in the sky area, and this will give us a nice little deep blue, and we're going to assume that our lake's water is as blue as our sky, the natural color of the lake compared to the reflection of the sky. I hope that made sense to me, because I'm the one saying it. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes I surprise myself. We're going to assume that the darkest parts of our lake are going to be this really deep Windsor blue. Now that we have our lake and our sky, I'm going to switch over to a brown color, probably a sandy brown color. I'm going to go for some raw umber and mix that with a little bit of white. And once I have that mixed in, it's going to make a very ugly color. But you know what? Not all of nature is pretty. I'm going to add just a touch of black to that as well. One thing to keep in mind when you're mixing paint colors, especially with black, a little bit can go a long way. Be cautious of what exactly you're doing when you're adding your brown. So I'm going to go right at my horizon line here, start to add a little bit more of a defined area for where my sky and my ground/lake start to meet. Now, just because we've got this area of our lake kind of sectioned off, we do need to start adding a little bit of a bank around the edge. So I'm going to start doing all these lines in a little bit of a horizontal fashion. As we get down, I'm going to start using some more of that deeper brown color closer to the edge of the canvas down here. Picking up a little bit of that blue, that's okay. I'm going to start adding some of the details in our lake. And as I mentioned, one of the things that we have to kind of keep in mind when we're doing water is that it is reflecting the sky behind it. That includes when we get our ripples in our water, depending on how calm the water is. It's also going to start reflecting the color of the sky above it. So as we're a little bit closer down here, it's going to be reflecting the sky about this color. So all of our little ripples down here are going to start to feel a little bit more like that sky color is being reflected. And when we get to the shore, we're going to assume that the water is starting to get a little bit more ripply, a little bit more intense. And it's okay to kind of dip into some solid white here as well. It's going to give it a little bit more justification for having those colors kind of splash around here. So for those of you who did watch Bob Ross back in the day, one of the things that he was really well known for is kind of that soft, very comforting tone. And I have been trolling YouTube every once in a while just to kind of get some extra tips on painting, things that I haven't quite established myself. And there are some people who are very much trying to imitate him by just being very relaxed and very soothing and calming. And to be honest, it kind of annoys the shit out of me because these people are not Bob Ross. I get that you're trying to capitalize on somebody who's been famous in painting for a long time, but just be yourself, man. Like, just be yourself. So I'm trying to just, as I'm doing this, have some of my personality come out through the painting and through my mouth as I talk. With the water area, as we're starting to add some of these ripples in the water, it is picking up a little bit of that blue that's still a little bit wet, and it's giving it a little bit of a blended color. The reinforcement helps. Any applause feeds my ego enough. Yeah. So I occasionally do teach painting classes for paint night, which if you haven't done so, you really need to check out a class. Paintnight.com, you can find my name there and see where and when I'll be painting. But one of the things that I actually have noticed when I'm doing these classes, I am an extrovert. I have a tendency to be a little bit more outgoing when all eyes are on me, and I never thought that to be the case. Only I've been asked to talk and paint, so it kind of works for me in this regard. And our brown is still a little bit wet. We're going to let that start to dry out a little bit, and then we're going to get to our other sections. Now I'm going to switch to a little bit larger of a brush, and I'm going to start to do my grass area. And one color that I almost always resort to is sap green. It's just such a nice dynamic green that can kind of feel like grass or like a tree. So sap green is almost always my go-to. I'm going to mix it with just a touch of white. Yeah, there's the solid color right there. And just because this grassy area is going to be living over here, I'm going to start doing short, choppy brush strokes. Maybe even a few brush strokes straight up to kind of give it a little bit more of a long grass feel. Okay, what I'm going to do is mix a little bit of that blue with a little bit of our dirt color. And it's going to look like some of the water is kind of washing up on that in-between area. The idea is to kind of show that the ground just below the water is starting to slope down into the water, so we can just start to make out those last little remnants of what the ground is looking like just beyond our site over here. If you're going to be afraid of anything, guess you should have a rational reason for what you're afraid of, like clowns. That's a rational fear. That's okay to be afraid of those. Didn't you guys have a clown on last week or something? So I'm adding a little bit more white to my palette. Can never have enough white. That's why I always get the big tubes. I'm going to take some of our solid white, and I'm going to start adding a little bit of these ripples that are just kind of crashing along the shoreline here. And the best way I feel to kind of get those areas that look like they're starting to wash up is just to give it a quick dab, and it's kind of mimicking the idea that we have our water reflecting parts of our sky. So we've got our green with just a touch of blue. And I've got this pointed brush that's going to make our tree a little bit more visible over top. And again, we're kind of taking note of where our light source is coming from. So as I add these little brush strokes, I'm going to give it a little bit more shade on the far right side. A little bit of shadow underneath before we can get too far. I'm going to add a touch of yellow to that for our highlighted side. And because this is a three-dimensional object, we've got our highlighted side and our shaded side, but just because we have two sides to a tree, it is kind of rounded, so we're going to want to see some of that shade creeping into our highlighted side as well. Especially towards the bottom where we know a lot of that light is going to start to be captured from the ground. I'll mix a whole lot more black in here just to really get those darks crushing pretty deep on that bottom area. Over in our shaded area, those dark areas really popping down there. Yeah, it's not so bad. All right, pretty happy with that so far. Let's add a few more of these. We'll get some towards the background over here. And I am kind of utilizing the shape of this brush to really get that texture going for our trees. Not always successfully, but again, it's all about trial and error as I'm adding highlights to certain things. The closer you get to solid white, the more that these highlights look like the texture of the object is very smooth or very glossy. So as I add this little bit of white to these, it's going to add just another little extra element to our tree. Assuming, of course, that our light source is coming from our top right side. Alright, so we've got 3 trees growing along our riverbank right now, and that sky looks pretty big and open when it is not full. The further off into the distance we see a large object, the more it kind of captures the atmosphere in its shadow. So if we're going to be doing a mountain, the mountain's shadow areas are going to be holding a little bit of that blue to our eye. So I'm going to say that our dark side of our mountain is going to have this more blue side. And I'm doing big swipes up. And I'm going to add just a touch more gray to that. Even more gray to that mountain. Assuming, of course, it ends right at the horizon line where land is. There is really no set way that our minds interpret these things. Even if there is a perfect ratio out there that kind of says what something is supposed to look like, our brains sort of fill in the blank and we know what something is supposed to be. So doing just these random swatches to make it look like a rocky mountain is just enough to make it look like a rocky mountain. So we've got our mountains there in the background. I should probably add just one last one on the left side just for balance, because our lake is kind of leaving it big and empty over here. So I'm going to add one last one. A little touch of blue to give our atmosphere a little bit more grounded reality. Okay, and for the kicker, we're going to have a twist ending here. This one I'm pretty excited about. We're going to add 2 moons in the sky, because this is not Earth. This is actually a terraformed Mars. And here's Phobos and Deimos, the 2 moons of Mars, which are not spherical like our moon. Told you I was a nerd, and I intend on flexing those muscles when I come onto a TV show. The atmosphere will fill in the shadows of everything that is not entirely visible. There's our first one, and then our second one is going to be real small right up here. I'm embellishing on the size. There we go, 2 moons. This is Total Recall, 100 years after Schwarzenegger melted the ice. We've got grass and trees and a mountain. Bada boom.
Oh my God, that was an amazing, amazing painting that Adam created. So just to get a better look at it, we have our lovely stagehand, Anna. She's going to come and bring the painting out for everybody to see. This is beautiful.
It is.
Wow.
Amazing work.
Adam, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I would have
Really,
done
really
some
is.
things a little different, but
See,
you know.
he's critiquing himself. That's what artists do, right? I think it's wonderful. What do you think, Michael?
It's magnificent.
Thank
Truly
you.
is magnificent.
I feel like I could take my shoes off and actually just walk through the dirt path.
It gives you that illusion that you're right there.
I'll be swimming right here.
Oh, she's smart. She goes swimming, yeah.
I'd be kayaking.
And she's kayaking. You see? You see what it's doing? It's taking us to another place.
Yeah.
This is great.
As long as that other place gets me more money.
It will.
So do you see it as being warm, or do you see it like a little cool in this picture? Because I see it
I
as
see it
being
cool.
cool out.
Yeah, because
cool
I
out.
feel like it's like, or maybe early evening.
Yeah.
There's no sun. Maybe it was a
It's
See
cloudy
some
day.
rough seas there, the snow caps. Those, you go with a windy night.
I have this kind of philosophy that when I finish a painting, there's a sense that it's no longer mine, because people interpret
People will see it however they
so
want.
My
Right, yeah.
intentions are kind of moot at that point.
Well, this is wonderful.
It is.
Well, that's it for our show. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time.
Definitely. Great show. Really
Amazing.
enjoyed the artist and the game show.
The game show was fun.
Awesome.
Yes, yes. So I'd like to thank my wonderful co-host Salim Bashiri.
You're welcome. I love being here.
Thank you.
for having me.
This show wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful year of Remember This together. Yes. And I'd like to thank our wonderful guests, Michael Lewis, Adam Lordi. Thank you to our wonderful crew, Chrissy Boland, director, Jay Cruz, floor manager, cameraman, Kenny Graham, studio manager, lighting. And thank you to our wonderful audience here, our studio audience, and our audience at home. Remember to like us on Facebook. Remember this TV show. And thank you to our sponsor, as always. She always comes through for us, Donna Tillman from Call It a Wrap. She sponsored us the entire year, so we want to, thank her for that.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you.
Love you guys, big time. Big time. I shall see you hopefully soon. And if not, until we meet again, shall we? I'm sleeping here right in the middle of a dream. I always wake up, something is knocking at my brain. Before I go to sleep, I roll my pillow to my head. I spring up in my head, screaming out the words I think. I think I love you. This morning, I woke up this feeling. I don't know how to feel it, so I just decided. See, this is called a fist. Here you go, baby. And then I go and shout. Look at you. Say, hey, come over, I won't. Like they